Today I want to take a closer look at three semiconductor stocks that I believe can benefit from this AI market. The first one is going to be one that's very popular and I think many of you guys might be familiar with. That's going to be AMD. The other two I want to say don't get covered too much, and one of them I think it's very under the covers right now. So I'm just going to give my overall thoughts on why they can benefit, and I'm also going to talk about valuation and my overall thoughts there. So let's take a closer look in today's episode.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for their subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so the first stock we're going to take a closer look at is AMD. And before we take a closer look at AMD, I want to say my number one position is Nvidia. But the company that I've been in the longest, I want to say in my overall portfolio, has been AMD. This is one that I've been here since the single digits. So I am a huge AMD bull. But I want to say I don't think AMD is the next Nvidia. And by that is I don't believe we're going to get the same type of returns that Nvidia has given. I also don't believe that AMD, where it's at right now, is going to be a $1 trillion company within the next few years. And you might be wondering, Jose, then why are we taking a closer look at AMD if you don't believe it can 4 or 5x within the next few years? While I don't believe it can be a huge, crazy grower like Nvidia, I do believe that AMD can outperform the semiconductor market, can outperform the tech market, can outperform the overall stock market as well. So those are the types of investments that I enjoy. Now, AMD right now is a market cap of $277 billion. The stock is up to $171. I have been talking about AMD. You can easily go back to my previous episodes where I mentioned AMD at that 150, 160 levels is pretty impressive and pretty attractive. Right now we can see we are at 171. I want to say right now is maybe time for very small dollar cost average. While I did mention earlier in this episode that I don't believe AMD is the next Nvidia, I believe the AI market is going to be a huge driver force for this company. And while they might not take the same type of market share that Nvidia has, even breadcrumbs in this space, and we're going to look at some numbers later on, kind of the AI compute space, especially the AI accelerator space, even breadcrumbs in that market can be a very big opportunity, especially for a company that's only making about $23 billion a year. And that's where AMD is in its most recent year. So AMD did give us their overall roadmap, and now they kind of pushed it to an annual cadence, very similar to Nvidia. 2023, we have the MI300X. This is combating the H100 from Nvidia. 2024, they're going to release the MI325X. This is going to combat the H200. 2025, the MI350. That's going to combat the B200, B100. And in 2026, they're going to release the MI400, which is expected to fight against NVIDIA's R100 or the Rubin platform. So AMD, I think they're going to get little growth here and there. But the one I'm super excited about is the MI400. And the reason I'm very excited about the MI400 is the company mentions that, hey, look, while this is expected to be available in 2026, it's going to provide the latest features and capabilities that will help unlock additional performance and efficiency for inference and large-scale AI training. Those last four words, large-scale AI training, are what really caught my attention. So one thing that Nvidia has of pretty much anybody else right now is when it comes to AI training, they have the best connectivity that makes them easy to connect with each other and talk with each other. And that's why when we're looking at AI supercomputers, those AI supercomputers are all Nvidia based platforms where you have Nvidia GPUs powering 24,000, 25,000, 12,000, 14,000, and so GPU clusters. And you don't see that for AMD right now. So 2026 with the MI400, we are going to see those superclusters powered by AMD, and that is going to be a huge drive for the company's revenue. Again, not going to be the next Nvidia, but definitely could benefit. I mean, in the most recent earnings, Lisa Su, the CEO of AMD, updated their guidance that, hey, look, this upcoming year, they're going to make roughly $4 billion in AI accelerators versus their prior guidance of 3.5. The upcoming quarters, we're going to see the same thing where Lisa Su is going to increase that number a little bit by little by little. And I would say by the end of this year, maybe we might get roughly $6 to $7 billion in revenue from AMD's AI accelerator market. One thing to keep a note is the MI300 does use some special type of advanced packaging, even more special than the H100, and that's one of the reasons they're very supply constrained on their products. And one of the things that's kind of limiting some of their visibility right now, I want to say by the time we get to Q4, we're probably going to be closer to that $6 billion. And $6 billion is a nice amount, even though some of you might be saying, hey, Jose, Nvidia makes about 15, 16, 17, 18, 20 billion in data center revenue per quarter. Why can't AMD make those numbers? And that's why I started earlier where I mentioned that, look, and AMD is not going to be that Nvidia. It's not going to see that type of revenue in forms of their AI accelerator. At the end of the day, Nvidia is going to continue to hold the market share lead position, that market share crown. But when you look at AMD's revenue of 22 billion in its most recent year, a growth of 6 billion from AI accelerators and then continued growth from there can definitely make a nice impact in the company's total revenue. So for that reason, I am considering AMD a great player here for the AI space. Right now, if we look at PE ratio forward 1 year, which is about a year and 6 months from now, aka next fiscal year, the PE is roughly 30.91. Historically, I want to say in the past few months, this does tend to go below the 30 points, sometimes 27, 28. We've seen here in April, between April or June, it was closer to the mid 20s, and that was that 150. If we get to those 150s, that's where I believe is a good opportunity to add onto AMD. Right now, it's maybe more of those small dollar cost averaging over time. So that's the first company.
Before we go any further, we are now on the road to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you all for the crazy support. So if you haven't and are enjoying the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. Finally, if you want to support the channel a little bit more, make sure to check out my special offer at fool.com/Jose. Now back to today's episode.
Now, the second company is going to be Marvell Technology, and this is one that I believe is fairly priced. We can see year to date, the stock is up roughly 24%, but pretty much since I want to say late June, the stock hasn't really moved much, 1.4%. So Marvell Technology deals a lot with networking sides of creating networking solution for the semiconductor markets. The markets that they're in have been very weak because of a lot of things like over inventory pressure. So I think right now the market is looking at those other markets that they operate in and are worried that, hey, look, this is going to be kind of a slow mover for the next few quarters, for the next few years. But the reason I am excited for Marvell in the AI market is they say that the AI is the ultimate data infrastructure application. They develop and deliver semiconductor solutions that move, store, process, and secure the world's data faster and more reliable than anyone. And as we know, AI is pretty much about having all that data, processing it and moving it as quickly as possible, storing it in certain location and making sure it's secure. So in Marvell, in forms of solution, it provides 3 solutions for this accelerator infrastructure. Compute with this custom compute, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Connectivity, it makes semiconductor solutions that go into things like Ethernet switches and interconnects. And in the storage, it makes semiconductor solutions that are controllers for the storage space. Now, in forms of interconnects, when you have multiple GPUs, all these GPU clusters, these GPUs need to talk with a lot of things, and one of the greatest ways to do that is via optics. And here we can see one of those interconnects that can be used in a lot of these AI infrastructure solutions. And Marvell creates things like DSPs, their digital signal processing, their TIA, their drivers, and the list goes on and on. Now, when it comes to networking solutions, Marvell also provides these types of processors that are good for Ethernet switching, which is great for AI as we're moving into that Ethernet market, Ultra Ethernet, which is going to be a great place for AI networking. Now, outside of that, they also kind of partner with customers to create custom computes or create kind of custom AI accelerators. They mentioned that they already create AI compute for 3 out of the 4 hyperscaler operators. Customer A, they help with an AI training accelerator, an AI inferencing accelerator. With customer B, they help with an ARM CPU. And they recently mentioned a custom customer C, which they mentioned, which they are helping with an AI accelerator. Now, I mentioned Marvell is a great semiconductor company. While they are a fabless, they do kind of send all their chips to companies like TSM to get manufactured. You still need to learn how to design chips on those crazy process nodes. They already have nodes, chip solutions on 5 nanometer, on 3 nanometer, and working on 2 nanometers. They also have a lot of expertise and teams working on advanced packaging like 2.5D and 3D, and they have expertise in multi-chip, chiplet, networking, and types of optic communications as well. Now, we can see how Marvell can definitely get excited about this space. Now, Marvell has also shared kind of this total addressable market for the data center space. And for the data center space, they believe in calendar year of 2023 is going to be about $68 billion spent on compute. Most of that is going to be the accelerated compute, roughly $42 billion in accelerated compute and roughly $26 billion in general purpose, aka CPUs. Now, fast forward into calendar year of 2028, they believe that this will go to $202 billion. Most of that growth is coming from the accelerated compute, where it's going to go from $42 billion to $172 billion. So we can see why the AI market, AI accelerators are a huge growth opportunity. Now, Marvell believes that within that AI accelerator, a good portion is going to be custom AI accelerators, pretty much with what they help work with those AI data center companies and those cloud server providers. And they believe that will be a $43 billion market opportunity for them. So right now, all the opportunities that they see in AI, from their storage, their interconnect, their switching to custom accelerated custom compute, are expected to grow dramatically within the next few years. So Marvell Technology, like I mentioned, has been pretty quiet within the past few months. I believe we're going to continue to see that, as some of their other markets are still pretty weak. But within the long term of things, I believe Marvell would be one to outperform the overall stock market, outperform the overall semiconductor space as well. So for me, Marvell is one that I am buying within these low 70s and high 60s. So we've seen it at 68 plenty of times. I believe I've added a few times at those 68s. Anything below 68, in my opinion, is very attractive. As we can see, Marvell's PE ratio forward 1 year is sitting at roughly 29.27. So Marvell is going to be number 2 in my list. Now, number 3 is one that I want to say probably no one follows too much, and this is Airtest Systems. And you might be wondering, if you follow Airtest Systems, you might say, Jose, I know this one, but how can this go with the AI market? So for those that are not familiar, first let's just start off with finances. Right now the stock sitting at $11.29. Year to date, the stock is down roughly 55%. From its overall high, the stock is down roughly 78%, with a market cap of $326 million. So this is a company that was very much excited and seeing the growth opportunity thanks to the EV space, the EV race. So Airtest Systems is a company that provides burn-in test solutions for the semiconductor market. So they provide an equipment that companies that make and manufacture chips use their equipment to test out the chips, and they do kind of this like stress test on them to make sure those chips are working fine and they're not gonna fail in the future. So obviously they deal with more like the reliability and quality in the manufacturing business. Now, they are expected to report earnings on July 16th, so in the upcoming weeks we will learn more about Airtest Systems. We are going to see Airtest Systems is very dependent in the EV market right now, as their burn-in test is being used a lot in silicon carbide technology, which are the types of chips that are used in EV solutions for battery testing, charging testing, infrastructure solutions as well. So they are dependent in that space, and we know that right now with the current macroeconomics, the EV market is not as strong as it has been in the past. So you might be wondering, okay, Jose, so you're talking to me about EV. What does this have to do with AI? And the answer is nothing, but that is one could be a potential tailwind for Airtest Systems. Now let me tell you why this is a company that can benefit from AI. We saw that this company had a market cap of less than $400 million. That means it's probably making very little revenue, right? It's expected to make revenue of about $67, $68 million. So if they enter in the AI market, the potential for growth is pretty high, wouldn't you say? And they do mention that, hey, look, they recently got commitment from an AI accelerator company for wafer level burn-in evaluation. So if the AI market is as big as many people are going to need, they're going to need a lot of equipment. And as people continue to build AI accelerators, the amount of equipment that they can need are going to see a huge boost if this goes in that direction. The second thing that they mention is that they're providing a solution, which is their Fox XP multi-wafer system for silicon photonics, which companies see as a leading indicator to new optical I/O market. So this is actually another solution that's being used in the AI accelerator space right now. So for chips to kind of connect with each other, they have these one of the best ways is kind of these optics co-package advanced packaging solutions where the chips are able to connect to talk to each other at such a fast level. Intel's one of the companies that's working with solutions as that. And then another thing is we can see that another growth opportunity here is HBM3 and just HBM memory, as there needs to be some form of test and burn-in solution for those as well, which is another big opportunity from the AI market. So if things go in the right direction and their equipments are the ones that get chosen, obviously there's competitors in this space, but if they get chosen, the opportunity for growth here is very, very high. I also want to say I am bullish in the EV market in general, and that's where I want to say my first bullish point is for Airtest system. So I am an Airtest system shareholder. I've been buying around the 15, 16s was my first purchase points. I luckily was not one that was excited about them when the stock was at 48 or 51, but when we're seeing it here in the mid-teens, I got super excited. And now at the low teens, I'm even more excited, especially since my bullish case of the EV market I believe is going to be a nice tailwind as we continue to go into this electrification. But now I'm going to add that AI accelerator to that tailwind. And with the current ways that we are in the market, the AI space is definitely here to stay, and Airtest system has the potential to grow in here. So this is one of those companies that I would say would be a very small position, or a position that, hey, look, this is a company that can go in either direction, but if it is a winner, it can be a big, big winner overall. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care, have a good day, and see you all next time.